I am Nicola Cheney, Head of Service covering Sussex Acute CAMS and part of the project group who have developed COAST. COAST is Sussex Partnership's new crisis and intensive home treatment service. Prior to the launch of COAST, I met with young people who have accessed similar services across Kent and Sussex. We talked about their experiences of accessing crisis care, home treatment and also being an inpatient. The young people spoke about how their services help them and their families, what could have been done differently, and also shared ideas for care delivery to include in the model for COAST. The young people, who are experts by experience, continue to work with us as members of the project group and are part of the ongoing implementation of COAST.
I was in general for about 2.5 months, but obviously I know I had to be there because they weren't sure what to do. But I definitely always say that it did not benefit me, because while I was there, I was obviously struggling with a change of environment. I was like with all these new people, but then being there for so long, I then got to know everyone. And then because I hadn't been at my house for so long, it almost felt like my other home. And I don't think personally that's a good thing for someone to feel, because like I just feel like if they'd included me in the plan and everything, that it would have been able to get done quicker. That's a general hospital is not a nice experience at all, but I definitely stress enough that being there for that long does affect you much more, and I feel like it has a bigger negative impact than a positive one.
There's also times where, especially with urgent help service, they've really recognised that hospital isn't helpful for me, and they did everything in their power to make sure I didn't go back into hospital. They put support in place in the community, one-to-ones in the community. They helped me get the funding to have a carer in the community so I didn't have to go back to hospital, because they were listening to what I was saying, that hospital isn't going to help me. And yeah, so there is that thing where if I didn't have the Section 117 funding, I wouldn't have had the option to not go into hospital, because my option was 24/7 carers or psychiatric hospital. So I feel like there needs to be something in the middle of that, because that's not fair on other people that know hospital isn't going to help them, but don't have the option of carers, because the carers really helped me. There was something that we could do to help people, because I really recognise that all my friends that I've known that have been in hospital have all said to me, it's not helpful. And I know sometimes it's necessary because you need to be kept safe, but it can prolong it a lot when you're in hospital, because you get worse because of you're around other people that are so unwell as well. You bounce off each other's like struggles and the way they cope with them. You pick up new negative coping skills and you implement them into your life, and it can just be really unhelpful, I think. But
I think in inpatient hospitals it's very much like a domino effect. If like one person finds out about something when there's like 10 other really unwell people, it just kind of goes around, and it's just like, I can't say anyone I've met has really found an inpatient hospital helpful, and I've been in quite a few different ones and nobody found it helpful. Most people aren't going to vouch for the psychiatric hospital. It's like, if you could be offered really like good support, then I think it would be so helpful, because everyone in hospital just picks up a lot of mechanisms. Like, I know that things that put me in hospital were not the same things that were keeping me in hospital. Like, I picked up loads of different behaviours that were just so unhelpful. And it's just like, if you can do anything in your power, like, I am aware that inpatient beds are not cheap. And I've made the joke 100 times of, if you just given me the cash that you paid before I went in hospital, I would have had a wild time, I would have loved life. And I've made that joke 100 times. But it's just like, if you had put nearly, like, even maybe 2% of the funding you put into my inpatient admission into supporting the community, that would have been like significantly better. I would have avoided an admission.
It's helpful to hear that feedback, because it basically articulates very well what we want this new service to be able to do.